Hello, everybody. Just going to give it a minute or two to get the numbers up. Wow, through 100 already. $150, $180, $200, $210. So we'll just give it another minute or so. $225. Okay, we'll give it 30 seconds. $230. Still climbing. Still climbing. $240. Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon all, and thank you for dialing in. So another month is gone. Boy, time is really flying by. So what's on the agenda today? Today I'm presenting to you the month-end report for May. On this call I've got a few guests. We have with us the top performers from May from some of the different communities. We have Jonathan Knott, who did a piece on the call on Wednesday with George and Jan. He will be discussing some more results from the market research that he's completed, all which is very interesting. And then we have a very special guest, our COO, Mr. Justin Haines. He will be talking about our new product, our new customer service setup in Bristol, and basically what service looks like going forward. He will be bringing a couple of his members of his team on, Georgina and Laura, to give a bit of a demo. So we've got a great lineup for you today. But before I dive into my report, I want to speak to you all about a few things. All the talk recently has been about the launch of our sexy new product, SuperPay. And although that's very exciting, there are other big things happening within the business, especially with field sales. Now, when you take a full 360 look at Payment Sense and study why is Payment Sense such a successful and powerful company today? I mean, and the answer is it's a lot of things. It's obviously our product, technology. I mean, we've got some of the best tech and product guys in the industry. Service. I mean, we've invested heavily in service going into this new world, which Justin will talk about in a bit. Our founders, senior management, I mean, and all the people throughout all of the different departments. I mean, we have a lot of talented people throughout every department across this business. It's a very long list as to why this company is so successful. However, one that is very high up on the list as to why Payment Sense is so successful, and that's you, field sales. I mean, field sales is one weapon that most other businesses don't have, but we do. I mean, and you've heard me say that SuperPay is 2 years in the making, which it is. But let me tell you one thing. I mean, field sales today, the level we're at today, I mean, that's been 4 or 5 years in the making. And people forget that. I mean, if not longer than 5 years. So SuperPay won't fall off the shelves itself and fall into customers' hands. I mean, the real weapon here is field sales. And I mean, our field sales channel have turned into such a dangerous and powerful distribution channel that this gives us such an advantage over any other company out there. So in the last few months, we've been looking at this more closely. And we've been asking ourselves, have we got this right? I mean, you guys are such an important element to this business. But the questions are, do you guys feel like the work you do is fully appreciated and recognized? Do you feel like you're part of the Payment Sense family? And what I mean is, do you feel like you are right in the mix of this business? Or do you feel sometimes like you're always on the outside of the circle? I mean, can you really feel and taste the Payment Sense culture? Now, if we're being honest with ourselves, we probably haven't got this right all of the time. I mean, you guys, you all work remotely. I mean, day on day, month on month, you're out on the road, driving the length and breadth of the country, working alone. I think it's pretty obvious that at times you maybe don't feel like part of the Payment Sense family. It's a bit like the business is here and field sales are over there. Now, we've always planned to bring the two closer together, but it hasn't happened as quick as we would have liked. So in the last few months, I mean, we've been working on how we can bring all of this together. And when lockdown hit, we realized that this is the perfect time to do this. So what was the first step? I mean, the first step was that there must be a culture change. Now, the business as a whole is already going through a massive culture change in regards to making the customer first. I mean, that's why we rebuilt our product. And that's why we're investing heavily in service. I mean, it's all about bringing the customer to the forefront of everything we do as a business. But that ship is already sailed. I mean, that's already happening. What I'm talking about here is the internal culture change with field sales. So what are the objectives here? I mean, we want you to feel that Payment Sense has your back and that we will support you when needed. I mean, we want to give you access to all the information, the data, the training and tools that will make you an absolute expert in your field. I mean, we want to bring you closer into the business. I mean, we want to make sure that you feel a real sense of belonging. And also we want to improve how we communicate with you. We want to keep you fully engaged with the business so that you know everything that is going on and that you're not the last, always the last to know everything. So overall, I mean, we want to give you a full range of support, education, recognition, and a sense of belonging and love that every single person in this business, whether employed or self-employed, gets. Now, I've listed quite a lot of objectives there, you mean, and it's very important that we get this right and that this all isn't just words and no action. This is not about giving it a label, culture change, and then nothing happens. This is about you seeing this and feeling it and tasting the real Payment Sense culture that we want. So I just gave you a list of objectives that we have. But you might have already noticed that we actually kicked this off a couple of months ago. And I didn't want to tell you about it then because at that stage, I would have only been in a position to explain to you our intentions. Whereas by explaining this to you now, and when we're 2 months deep into the change, I can now identify some of the examples that will demonstrate that we are actually making this happen. So let's take a look at what we've done over the last couple of months. So I first of all talked about the objectives. The first objective that I stated there was we want you to feel that Payment Sense has your back and give you the support when needed. So what did we do here? I mean, when COVID hit, I mean, we realized that this is going to hurt you in the pocket. So what we did immediately was we increased the levels of commission to 30% in April and then 25% in May. And we spent an extra 150 grand in the uplift in commissions over that period. We were very happy to spend this if it meant you getting through these tough times. But also, we've also passed all of the leads out to field as well. And this has been a much higher cost to the business. But the priority here was getting your earnings up through this period. We also froze Champions League, meaning that you wouldn't be financially punished by not hitting Champions League targets, and that you wouldn't fall back down the leagues and receive lower percentages in regards to residuals or commissions. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to go further here and help you. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep Champions League frozen for another 3 months until the end of September, meaning that you will have the full benefit of the level that you're at today without the worry of falling back. However, I'm well aware that some of you have been hitting great sales figures over these months, and that the Champions League sort of freeze actually puts you at a disadvantage, because the sales that you're doing today, you would have moved up into the higher brackets. Therefore, we're going to make it that you can still move up with the sales that you're doing today, still move up in the Champions League, but you just can't fall back. I mean, so this way, everyone has the full advantage here. So if you're a newbie, an owner, or silver or gold, you still have the opportunity to move up Champions League into the higher brackets. And if you're a platinum, then your status as platinum is fully safe until the end of September. Now, when we reopen Champions League again at the end of September, we will be calculating your new status with the last 3 months of what you did. Therefore, July, August, and September. So July, August, and September are very important months. I mean, that gives you 3 months with the new product to secure your Champions League position in October. So it is vital that in July, August, and September that you get your business pumping, and you make sure that come the 1st of October, that your last 3 months gives you the Champions League standing that you want when we reopen the Champions League on the 1st of October. In regards to newbies who came into the business in February and March, we're going to honor and extend the starters' higher commission brackets throughout June and July. We'll reach out to you individually and give you the full details on this. So as I was talking about, what was the objective here in regards to the culture change? I mean, we want you to, as I said, we want you to feel like Payment Sense has your back and gives you support when needed. So I will let you answer that yourself as to whether we have met that first objective over the last few months. But let's look at the other objectives I listed earlier, and then talk about, I mean, what have we put in place since? I mean, I said we want to bring you closer to the business, keep you engaged, and give you a real sense of belonging. So if we look back, what has happened? What have we put in place in order to meet these objectives? So I'm sure you've noticed that your best friend over the last few months has been Zoom. I mean, think of the amount of Zoom calls that you've been on in the last 2 months. And we've been hosting 3, 4, maybe 5 webinars every week for you to attend. And the reason we're doing this is, I mean, we want to give you access to all of the information, the data, the training, the tools, everything that will make you an absolute expert in your field. I mean, those webinars that we've been hosting in the last few months have consisted of product training, all different sorts of training, sales training, town halls with George and Jan, giving you full access to them and asking any questions you want. Pitch perfect sessions where our top performers have been sharing their tips and secrets with everyone else. I mean, you've heard and seen more from the business in the last 2 months than you probably have from the entire time that you've been with Payment Sense. And that's because we are committed to making that culture shift in regards to field sales. And let me tell you one thing. level of engagement from you has been fantastic. For example, the Back to Business webinars. We've had over 231 sellers complete those modules in the last couple of months. So clearly this is working. I'm sure you do feel a little bit closer to the business already. Hopefully you're now starting to feel updated with all the info and you're engaging more with us. But also, we are going to ban the word seller across the business. You will no longer be referred to as a seller. You are a payment consultant, and that's how people will refer to you moving forward. It's our mission to give you all the training, the data, and the info, as I said, so that you can become a complete expert in your field. This is about giving you the consultative approach to the customer and not the sales approach. So you will not be regarded as just a sales number in this business. You will be regarded as a payment consultant and an expert of what you do from here. Wednesday, the founders hosted a call where they presented to you sort of all the data in the industry. Why? Because we want to give you the data and the information so that, as I said, so you can become an expert in this industry. You were also presented with the financials of the business by the CFO. Why? Because we want to bring you closer to the business and give you all the information about what's happening in the company. George and Jan were so impressed by the questions that you guys threw at them. They thought it was a breath of fresh air. They were all questions about the products, about the future of the business, really intelligent and inspiring questions that demonstrated that you are very excited about the future of this business. So George and Jan, they want to bring you closer to this business and to them. So you will now be invited to all town halls that they present to the business. They've got another town hall next week, and it's called Ask Them Anything. So this is the first time ever that you will be getting full access to them. In regards to improving communication with you, this is also one of our objectives. Today we communicate to you mainly by WhatsApp messages or email. The rest of the business communicate through Slack channels. So why are you guys not on there? So to bring you closer to the business and to improve how we communicate with you, we're going to bring all of our field sales into Slack. So what is Slack, you might be asking yourself. So basically this is an alternative to emails. It's much quicker and slicker, and basically it gives you real-time notifications to all of the information that you need from the different departments. So you will be included in group chats with every department, and you'll receive real-time information directly to your phone from them as the news comes out. You will no longer be having to wait for your RSM or for me to pass this information down. It will immediately come straight to your phone directly from that department. So you will have the app downloaded to your phone. So it basically means that you can reach anyone in any department within seconds. We will set up a training webinar probably at the end of this month and get you all set up and trained on this. So guys, overall for the last 2 months, we've been making a lot of changes behind the scenes here of how we do things with you. This is our way of showing you that we are committed at this end to culture change for field sales. We have helped you financially with the commission uplifts and the Champions League phrases. We've brought you closer to the business with many webinars across many subjects. We've given you access to George and Jan. And now we're going to change how we communicate with you by bringing you into the internal sort of communications with Slack. So this is happening. There's still a lot of work to do on our side, but it's all moving in the right direction. And the response from you has been amazing over the last 2 months. You've been super positive through these tough times. The level of engagement from you has just been incredible. I genuinely feel like the rest of the business and field are starting now to come together. Now, I've just talked to you about our objectives and what we have put in place. But in order for us to achieve culture change and bring us tight together, this has to be a two-way street. I mean, we are working on improving at our end and putting things in place for you, but you need to also do your bit. And what I mean by this is, you need to keep that level of engagement high with us, with the business, with your RSM, with everybody. Attend the webinars and take all the information on board, and really work hard at becoming an expert in your fields. Also, as you know, you're now coming into the internal communications in Slack. So all communications you have with members of staff, keep it constructive and keep it respectful. I know sometimes frustration sometimes boils over, but we must communicate with each other in a polite and positive manner. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying sometimes there's situations where maybe things can get a little bit heated. But as I said, this is a two-way street. That means also for staff communicating to you, it needs to be polite in a positive manner as well. In regards to fraud, I mean, we very rarely get any mis-selling these days, but we must keep the reputation of field sales clean. I mean, we have worked very hard on cutting out the dirt over the last few years. And the business has actually noticed this. I mean, the amount of investigations going on now is very, very low, if any. So great job there. I mean, let's make sure that we continue to give the customer a very positive experience from start to finish. I mean, this business is now all about customer first, and we want to keep that up. And lastly, work closer with us. I mean, get to know everyone across the rest of the business. Go to Bristol, go to Hull, and meet all the teams. I mean, get on first name terms. I mean, guys, this is your business. I mean, you should feel like this is your baby too. I mean, go out there and make it an absolute biggest success that you possibly can. And one thing that I can promise you now, that this is not just a new chapter for Payment Sense in regards to the new product. This is also a new chapter for field sales. And I can promise you that we are committed to working a lot closer with you and making your experience here at Payment Sense much more productive, engaging, and enjoyable. And as I said, I'm sure you've already started to see and feel this over the last few months with the sort of the changes that we've put in place. So guys, that's it in regards to culture change for Payment Sense. Very exciting time. So let's move into the report. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. Just bear with me. Okay, so month-end report for May. In red, you can see April's figures. So in May, we had growth of approximately 30%, hitting 1.47 million with 1,265 lives. I mean, to have 30% growth to 1.5 million is incredible in this climate. So congratulations, guys. I mean, that was a fantastic effort to hit that figure. I know it's not easy out there. So let's move into the first section and see how the individual performances came along. So as you can see, this is the RSM and team leaderboard. As you can see, all of our teams are still very active in these times. For a team to be punching through 200K in this climate is, I mean, it is fantastic. So well done to those top three teams there. Matt, 226,000 in his team. Gavin, 245K LTR. And the same winner from last month with 275K is David's team. So congratulations, David and team, for coming out top. And in his picture on the right there, I think he's maybe had a few beers when that picture was taken. So well done, David and the team. Let's now move into the Superseller community. So the Superseller community is the top 10 sellers in the company over a 3-month period. But let's take a look at how these guys got on in May. I mean, there's some real fantastic numbers here. I mean, if you look at the top half of that leaderboard, I mean, it's very impressive. To hit 30K under these circumstances is just a great achievement. I mean, we've got Packy there, 33, Farrick, 33K, LTR, Adam, 34, Razina, 41, Matthew, 43, I mean, K. Incredible figures, guys. I mean, really well done in sustaining sort of those super seller standards. But the winner at the top of the pile, I'm getting really bored of announcing this guy as winner, but I'll take his numbers, is Tim Martin with 95K. Well done, Tim. I mean, what an amazing business that you've built up there. And just the consistency is just unbelievable. But one other thing I want to mention here is Farrick. I mean, I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this, but Farrick's father has been ill for some time now. And sadly, he passed away a few weeks ago. So all of our thoughts, love, and prayers are with you, Farrick, and your family. And I mean, all of this isn't important at this time for you, but the fact that you're still, I mean, 33K when you're going through what you're going through, but this doesn't matter. So as I said, all of our thoughts and love and prayers are with you and your family at this time. Okay, let's move on. Let's now move into the Champions League. Let's see what's been going on here. So, wow, I mean, look at these figures. I mean, this is the top 15 performances in Champions League from May. All of these are very impressive. I mean, we've got Fiona, James, Deborah, Richard, all punching through, I mean, 30K. Again, you mean to find a way to get out there and get in front of business customers in this lockdown and hit such numbers it's just incredible, and it's great to see you all making good money too. But our winner with 52K in May is Elena. Unbelievable. And let me just tell you something about this girl. I'm going to be bringing her on here as a guest in a minute. But I mean, this girl has impressed me from the start. I mean, she has been fired up from the beginning. I mean, she told me very early on what her ambitions were, and it was basically to get into platinum and really put her name on the map and get in amongst it, all of these other Champions League sellers. And she's always been an absolute delight to deal with. I mean, just her energy and her enthusiasm, and she's been knocking on the door of Champions League for a while now. And the fact that here we are, I mean, she's come out top, beating everybody in the month of May. And so we are super excited about Elena. So well done, Elena, on that. We're going to bring her in as a guest in a minute. But before we do that, we'll go on and finish the communities. So next, starters community. Great to see those who are pretty new into the business, still getting out there and sort of hitting some amazing numbers. I mean, so early on in their journey and starting to make some great money too. I mean, there's some really strong numbers here. And I mean, if you can hit these numbers in lockdown when you're so new into the business, I mean, I'm so excited to see your progress when sort of normality returns. But guys, basically all of these figures, well done for getting onto this leaderboard. But special mention here goes to Thomas and and Bill for obviously hitting 25 and 26. So congratulations, Bill, for winning this leaderboard here, and we look forward to sort of seeing where you go in your journey from here. So overall, the winners of the sections, well done to David's team and David for hitting 270, Tim 95. Okay, Elena for Champions League, and Bill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask David and Elena to come in so that we can have a chat with them. Are you guys there?
Hiya.
Hey guys, welcome. So first of all, congratulations. I'll start with you, Elena. I mean, you've realized, you probably heard me say that. I mean, we've been really impressed from you from sort of the start. I mean, you give us your ambitions very, very, very early on, and here you are now in front of now actually 300 people. You've won the sort of the top of the Champions League. How does it feel? I mean, and just give everybody an introduction to yourself, and basically give us just an update on your journey, and tell us how you've got here today.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, hi everyone. Well, when I joined this whole journey today, I never expected to be in this position now. I started back in April last year, and at the beginning, it's safe to say I was very inconsistent with my figures. At the time, me and my husband had a takeaway of our own, and funnily enough, we were customers of Payment Sense before I even knew about this, to work for and with Payment Sense. And since then, I always said, you know, I used to say to you and to David, you know, you watch when we leave this takeaway, I'm going to come at this full time, you'll see a difference. And I think the least month I had was December, but prior to that, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be on fast track. And from there, I managed to hit silver. And then obviously lockdown happened. And when lockdown happened, we finally got rid of our business, and Payment Sense is our business. That's how we see it. It's not a job. We enjoy doing it. And in the last 3 months, I just had one target, and it was to just beat my LTR every month, no matter what it was, just try and beat it. And I've done that the last 3 months. I just want to carry on, although now I've got high goals to hit. But no, it's just been such a good experience. I mean, my husband joined in November after me referring him into the company. He's just hit for the first time the leaderboard, and now it's just onwards and upwards for both of us.
Fantastic, Lena. I think you're the perfect example of somebody coming through sort of the gears on going on the journey. I mean, you came in as a newbie, you did your first 3 seals to qualify for fast track. You then came through fast track. You've now got into Champions League, and then pushing on into platinum, and here you are winning, sort of coming top of all the Champions League. I mean, it's a massive achievement. So well done on that. I mean, what's the vision moving forward? I mean, what's the future look like?
For me, I mean, I've had this conversation with Kiri as well, and he'll say to me, you know, how are we going to do this? We've not got a fish and chip shop anymore. This is it. This is what we're doing. And I just turned around and said to him, the way we have to look at it is we have to look after our customers. And the more you do for them, the more we do for the merchants, the more we help them when they're stuck with something, the more referrals we're going to get. So the future is to keep everybody happy as much as we possibly can. You know, even if it means that extra 5 minutes on a phone call, or a bit of a later call or earlier one. And if you can get everybody to realise that, you know, our customer service is there, the plan is to just get everybody afterwards to realise that Payment Sense is the go-to company. And if you're not with Payment Sense, then why not? That's how I want people to see us as a company, especially when SuperPay hits. Like, I want that to be a case of, you've opened a business or you've got a business and you're taking card already. Why is it not with Payment Sense? And I want people to talk about us in that sense. So I just want to keep everyone happy.
Excellent. And just one last question, Elena. I mean, so you said your husband works for the company. How does he feel like you're kicking his ass in sales numbers?
Well, I just told him I'm not going to let him beat me. So he's got competition on his hands. I am competitive, yes. I think we all are. But he said he's going to get his game on now. I'm not going to lie, though. He has helped me in a few things with a lot of moto and e-com. He's definitely more technical than I am with those things. So I suppose I wouldn't have achieved that much if it wasn't for his help. But he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Great. Well, listen, Lena, well done on getting this far in your journey. But I mean, we're moving into a new chapter now. It's only starting for you. We're proud of the journey that you've come. I mean, you're just the perfect example of somebody coming on a journey with Payment Sense. So well done.
Thank you.
David, now, David, so well done on 2 months in a row, huh?
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
So yeah, so well done coming top team again. I mean, you won RSM of the year last year. You have come first actually quite a few months this year. I mean, you've obviously built a really solid team there. And when I had a look at your team, I mean, it's broken down. I mean, you've got a bunch of newbies, you've got a whole bunch of Champions League and Platinum sellers, but you've also got 3 super sellers. So you've got a mixed bag there. But so tell me, what is the mindset? Let's pick one person from each level. What is the mindset today of a newbie for working with Payment Sense? What's the mindset today of somebody who's in Champions League, and what's the mindset in somebody that's a super seller within your team?
Yeah, it was, yeah. With the newbies, Steve, they have really impressed me. Massively impressed me. You know, some of the new guys, there's about a dozen newbies in the team. Some of them came on board, started the course on the lockdown was announced. But the big thing about them, what they've done is they engaged from day one. You know, they've seen the opportunity that was available to them. They haven't really even spoken to any merchants or anything, but they engaged and they get on the back to business webinars. They were on the Pitch Perfect webinars, and they've seen from that the opportunity is there. You know, people are earning 10K, 20K a month, and they're buying into that. But the big thing about it as well is they've seen massively with SuperPay. You know, SuperPay has no doubt in my mind created a massive vision for them of where the business is going, and they're hungry. They're now hungry to get busy, get the pipeline built up, and start aiming towards the Champions League levels and making things happen.
Okay.
Well, with the Champions League guys, you know, they're a treat at the minute because you know, they have the base of their business has already been built. They're earning good money, you know, up and around 10K mark, and their journey has started, and they're running a successful business. A perfect example is Alina, you know, just off the call there. She says she came through Champions or Fast Track program and just bought in, had a vision, had a goal, and with all the Champions League guys now, it's about the next level. You know, if it's silver, get gold. If it's gold, get platinum. If it's platinum, get super seller. And that's what the vision for they all are. And the great thing about it is SuperPay is going to allow them to progress so much quicker. And the exciting is really, the future is really exciting for the Champions League guys.
What about your three super sellers in?
Three
success. What's their mindset?
Three different levels. They're as hungry, or in fact, they're probably hungrier than ever. You know, obviously we've got Packy in there earning 15K a month. I'm sure they don't mind me sharing this. Matthew Cranston, nearly 20K a month. Adam Irvine, over 20 grand a month. You know, these guys are earning a ridiculous amount of money. But the great thing about it, Steve, is, you know, they've went from scratch. They went from starting a course, sitting in a trading academy like everybody else, and they've had a vision, they've had a goal, and they've just really bought into it. Always asked questions, always done the right things, and they've made things happen. And now their lives have changed. You know, they're the first people that are going to admit this, that Payment Sense has really changed their lives, changed their lifestyle, changed their families, and that's what we're good at. So I suppose if you put the three of the category, the communities together, the vision's exactly the same. It's really exciting times. We're hungry, we're focused, and we're very competitive. So we want to stay number one, Steve. So yeah, it's good times ahead for the guys in my team. Really excited about them.
Can Team Lemon get the hat trick next month and win 3 in a row?
That's the goal, guys. That's the goal.
I'm sure the other RSMs are throwing their computers out the window right now as we speak.
Yeah, there'll be daggers getting thrown.
Listen, Davey, well done. I mean, you've built a really good team. I know all your team really well. Got some really good guys there. You mean, and you've got guys at all level, and you mean it's an exciting chapter for you and your team. So thanks for coming. Well done. Keep it going.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, let's move back to the report. I'm just going to share with you again. Okay, so thanks, guys. Well done to all of our winners. Okay, so announcements. We have got some payment consultants here who have reached milestones in Millionaires Club. I mean, this is huge achievements right here. I mean, we've got obviously Paul and Richard who have reached 250K. I mean, these guys are not really that long into the business. So well done, Paul and Richard, for hitting that milestone. Then we've got Rachel Strange. Excuse me. We've got Rachel Strange hit 500K. I mean, Rachel has just plodded away and just sort of got on with it, and she's built a real good business for herself there. So well done, Rachel, on hitting 500k. Then we've got our two Scottish boys there. We've got Jamie and Farrick, who hit 750k. I mean, the interesting thing here is these guys started on the very same day, the very same course, and here they are basically just working their way up, smashing it into high up into the Millionaires Club 750. So well done, you guys. I mean, I love the competitive banter that you guys have got going on between you. So that's brilliant. And then at the top there, we've got James Roberts on 1 million. Fantastic achievement, James. Congratulations. I mean, you've got your £5,000 voucher sent out to you. And I believe now that you've taken a bet on with Tim to see who can reach the next milestone. That's going to be interesting. But my money's on you, James. Take Tim down, please. Take him down, please. So yeah, so you all received on the right-hand side there, you all received some champagne and some chocolates. If you haven't received it yet, don't worry, it's on the way. So congratulations, guys, on hitting those milestones. Fantastic. SuperPay updates. Okay, so the good news is we had our very first transaction this week, live transaction. I mean, as you've seen by the message Nick sent out, I mean, this is the first time the Payment Sense has ever made a payment using software written by us. I mean, what a massive, massive achievement. I mean, this is 2 years in the making. And I remember 2 years ago, Nick sent to me about this product which potentially was going to come to light. And I sort of said to him at that time, there's no way you and your team can pull that off. But here we are 2 years later, they've achieved it. And that's, I mean, massive congratulations to everybody involved. And that's obviously tech and product team, Ollie and his team. And there's just too many people to list. So what a massive achievement for the business. But now it's over to us. It's over to us to take this to market. To give you an update where we are, I mean, obviously the testing period was supposed to be the 1st of June, but we weren't quite ready for it last week. However, we are ready for it for Monday. We've been given the green light on that. So now the SuperPay rollout in regards to sales is over 3 stages. The first stage, which is the testing period sort of this month. And it's a very slow and controlled launch where we're looking maybe to 100 odd sales. And then we test that. And then when we get through this testing period this month, we'll roll into the second stage, which is in July, where we then roll it out to all of field. And really July and August is that transition period going from the old world moving over to the new world, getting used to the systems, getting used to the products, all of that. And probably there's going to be teething problems. I'm sure there will be teething problems, but you just think of the challenges that we've overcome in the last few months. So any challenges that are going to come in the next few months, we will smash through them. One thing is to say, we have to be patient through this testing period. The desirables here, the testing team, I mean, they're pulling their hair out. They just, I mean, with the delay last week, but it's good to go on Monday. And then, as I say, this is not about going out at this stage and doing a gazillion sales. It's about testing a slow and controlled test. And then we go into stage 2, which is July and August, where the rest of you will get this. And then that stage is just really about ramping it up, not testing it, but ramping it up, making a transition from the old world. And then from September, Dojo launches, and then we move into a new gear. We build up the momentum over the summer. Then when we go into September to November, peak selling months of the year, that's when we really go for broke. I mean, you'll have Dojo, you'll have all the branding, you'll have all the marketing you want, and then it's really exciting times. So guys, there's 3 stages there. Keep building your pipeline by all means, but please be patient with us on it. This is 2 years in the making. There's no point in us all fighting all against each other or ganging up on the tech or product because something happened or there was a teething problem. This is a very patient game. This is our product, our software. We built this from a blank page. So, I mean, it's a massive, massive project, and it's the future of our business. So it's going to be exciting times, and I'm really looking forward to that sort of that September to November period. We're going to smash every record out of the park. So that's the SuperPay updates. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to pass over to our special guest, Mr. Justin Haines. Is he there? Justin?
Hello, hi.
Hi, Justin. Over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Steve. Right, just going to share my screen. Okay, hopefully you can all see that. So thanks for having me on today. Pleasure to be here. I'm pretty new into Payment Sense, so it's good to get some time to present to you and take any questions later. So Steve's asked me to do 4 things. Firstly, introduce myself and my background, so why I'm here, why I'm on this journey with Payment Sense, what I've done before. To update you on the new Bristol office, and then to talk a little bit more about SuperPay rather than the existing operation, which you're probably more familiar with. Tell you a bit about the service that we're going to be building for SuperPay and why it's going to be better for our customers. And then finally, also to do a PAX demo. So George and Laura are going to come in just at the end and show you a demonstration of PAX and how it's quite significantly different for our employees and more importantly for our customers compared to our current offering. We've had some really good feedback on the demo, so I hope you're going to enjoy that. Okay, so very, very quick introduction to me and things I've done before. Started off in the early days after doing some grad scheme. I worked at Total with a very similar base to the base that we've got now. But the difference was I was responsible for service for their electricity and gas, but doing really quite similar mix of customers. I was 8 years there doing various different jobs around collections and customer service and contact centers. Then I moved abroad. I went and lived, my wife and I moved to the Caribbean, to the island of Grenada, and I managed an outsourced contact center, which was an amazing life experience. So I did a couple of years out there. And then when I came back, I worked for Vodafone. I did 8 years there, working at different places around the country, had quite a large team, up to a couple of thousand in the end, managing contact centers. Again, for business customers, typically large business customers, lots of specialist teams, lots of right at the higher end of the corporate world. And then I moved to OVO Energy, and I was 6 years there. And this is probably one of the roles that was of real interest to Jan and George when they started talking to me. I joined there when we had 90,000 customers. When I left, we had 1.5 million there. It's up to about 5.5 million following a recent acquisition. But it was a similar journey. It was a startup, and then it started to scale up, and we had to manage delivering incredible levels of service. We didn't sell on price, we sold on service and reputation. And I understand the importance of having something really powerful to support the sales and the marketing teams in terms of service, but also with all the challenges of growth. So lots of comparisons there. At Vodafone, my team won the UK National Customer Service Award, so we won the best team in the UK. And then about 10, 12 years later, we won the same award back at OVO. We also won 3 European awards for the best team, and then 2 for different. One was a big initiative last year, and the one the year before, which was for a support team. And the reason I mention these awards is not to say anything about me and the team and so on in the past. That's all in the past. But I just wanted to be clear, this is the level that we're aiming for. This is the aspiration. Because if we can win awards like this, if we can win big national and international awards, that's incredibly powerful for sales and marketing teams. Our sales teams used to love that and at OVO, and they used to plaster the logos over all of the materials, all of the marketing materials. Very, very powerful. We're not going to get there initially. It's going to take us some time to build it for the existing operation and for the new operation. But this is the sort of level that we want to get to. Okay, so the new operation in Bristol. First of all, why Bristol? Bristol's a great city. Lots of opportunity to hire great people. Hull was reaching capacity. If you've been to the office recently, it's pretty packed. And also we felt that we wanted somewhere with a bit more ability to scale. And there's a lot to be said for having 2 locations. So Hull is staying, and we have a 2-site strategy. And George has talked before that we'll probably go on to have additional sites in future. And Bristol's well suited for that. I'm not going to lie, it's also 35 minutes from where I live as well. Right, the new office space. This is our new office. It's seats 55 people. We've taken 3 offices within a shared service centre with the potential for us to grow a little bit further. I know 1 or 2 of you have been there already. It's a really nice modern building. It's right by Temple Meads train station. It's a really good place to hire people, and we've had a lot of success, and people are really enjoying being in the building. Although all of the current team were interviewed there. They were the first team were interviewed there, but haven't even ever worked a single day there. They've only ever worked from home via Zoom. I want to say as well, for anybody who is remotely close to the Southwest, please come and visit. It's really, really important. We've got a whole brand new team who have got massive potential and ability, but they are from different industries, and we'd love to get that cross-fertilization of knowledge and experience. Whether it's somebody who wants to just come and hang out for the day and instead of working from home, work in the office, listen to calls, come and get some of the service team to come out with you and shadow you, or similarly futures to come in and spend some time with the team. We'd really, really like that. And that's something we want to get going right from the start with the Bristol office. Okay, this is the first team that we've hired. Again, this is the only way we can get photos of them. We've really handpicked some great people. We've hired a second team, and we've hired them all via Zoom, something I've never done before. And we've found that hiring during a pandemic is a particularly good time. Again, something I've never done before. And so we've got a second team ready for that growth that Steve talked about that we're going to see later in the year. Okay, so what sort of service are we going to build to support SuperPay? And I do say going to build because I'd be lying if I said it's there already. This is embryonic, this is new. We can't hire 100 people and spend millions of pounds until we start to get some customers, but we've got plans, and I'll talk you through some of those plans. First of all, what are we going to target and measure performance on? We're going to keep it really simple, particularly in the early days. After every single contact we have from customers, we're going to ask customers how satisfied they were with both the business and with the advisor experience. Doesn't matter if that was a terrible complaint or a fantastic call. There's no ability to control that. We will ask every single customer, and we will scrutinize all of those, and the advisors will have the data there to have the feedback of that. But it's really important that sometimes calls go really well, and then a few days later, the customer has to contact you again. The average contact center in the UK has a right first time rate of 85%. So 15% of the time within 7 days, that customer has to contact again. There's no point being nice if you're not getting it right. And you need to anticipate needs that customers don't even know that they have. So they're the 2 core measures we'll have. They will contribute towards Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score is when you, if you're not familiar with it, is when you ask customers to score between 0 and 10, whether they would recommend your company, services to their family and friends. Simple question that's used in many, many businesses. Service can't deliver NPS on its own, but it can certainly contribute towards it. And we want to play a massive part in that. We'll also have some measures that are underpinning all of these, which will be the general contact center measures. You've got to make sure you're answering your calls and emails in a timely manner. And of course, things like Trustpilot review will give you really timely feedback if you're not on top of things straight away. Okay, so what else are we going to build? Firstly, we're going to make it really easy for customers to contact us. We have a system called NICE, which is a really good telephony system. It can do all kinds of fancy stuff. We could have multi-level, what we call IVRs, where you could press 1 for this, 2 for that, voice automated. We're not using any of it. You're going to get straight through to somebody who's multi-skilled immediately. You don't press any buttons, you just get straight through. We have to do, obviously, data protection, but we're going to make it as fast as possible. Through all the research that we've done via John, who you're going to hear from later, it's really, really clear that across the base, our customers need us to be fast. They need us to be available, they need us to be knowledgeable, but they need us to be fast because often they just don't have the time. They're busy with their business and they need to get through. 60% of them prefer to contact us by phone, and they always prefer to contact us by phone when they have something urgent, such as, things aren't working. About 15% of them prefer email, so we will keep email. We'll have fast email support. A smaller number, around 10% of them, do like online chat. We won't have that available for day 1, but we're going to be putting that in soon. That's one of the next things we'll be working on after launch. That's particularly favoured by our smaller customers. And then really there's a smaller percentage who like text messages or self-service, and we'll be having self-service will be really strong, and then we'll be working on text or possibly WhatsApp after that. Tech support is an area as well I feel really strongly about. You're going to see the demo later will give you an insight into how very, very different things are going to be. But we also need to be incredibly knowledgeable. In the whole team, it's frustrating for our advisors and also for our customers when we have to hand off our calls to Ingenico quite so often. And we want to get really strong at that. We've got a much better system and got better tools, but we're also going to really invest in training and understanding both the generic data we've got on PACS, but also our payment application, which is, as Steve said, is brand new. But we're really going to invest in that. We're going to invest a lot because we want to have everything right first time, first contact resolution to be really, really high as soon as those customers contact us. Just back to the easy to contact us as well. We will be opening the same hours that the current Hull operation supporting payment sense are. But once we get a little bit bigger and we've got our second team in and fully trained, I'm looking to extend those hours. We may potentially do some slightly longer hours in the evening, but we're almost certainly going to be opening on a Saturday morning when so many of our customers, such a busy day for our customers. At the moment, we're going to have tech support out of hours until 11 at night and 10 on a weekend. In time, once we've learned the payment application and we're fully au fait with PACS, we'll probably find a 24-hour solution just for those. It's virtually no calls come after 11 o'clock, but we'll probably have that anyway. That will come a little bit later. But I think for account calls, they still need us on a Saturday. So that's going to be a big change. Surprise and delight as well is something that we'll be looking to implement. Could be as simple as a welcome call initially, and they're going to be really important in the early days to get feedback and to help customers. But it could be something like something's going wrong and we need to do a site visit. Geographically, we've got some spread amongst my team throughout the country, and it may be something that we need to do on occasion, or liaising with the payment consultants. But also, it could be something as simple as sending a business owner who's having a bad time a small gift that's personal to their situation, or it could be someone who's had a good time and we send them something, just a small thing. It's something that I've done previously, and for a really small outlay financially, you can make a massive difference to customers and really buy some loyalty by doing the right thing for them. Feedback loops are going to be really important. We've got a mechanism in place so that when we understand feedback from customers, we can feed it straight through to the product and tech teams and get responses. But importantly, that we also feed that back to our customers and to or whoever internally has raised that. So those feedback loops are going to be essential. We're going to also rebuild some of the specialist support functions. We've had a tough time, as many businesses, through the pandemic, and I've heard about the great support from Steve that's been provided. But it's been really challenging for some of our teams, and we had to make some really tough decisions around some of our support departments, around our CSMs and so on. So we need to rebuild that. It won't be the same, it will be a slightly different model, and we'll talk more to you about that in the future. But we really need to rebuild those in a cost-effective way that delivers for our customers. Sales team collaboration is something that's really important and really high on my list. Steve and I had a meeting about this just a few days ago. For anybody who works in the Bristol area, you'll be pleased to know that we're going to be trialling. The Bristol team have volunteered to operate as lead generators for SuperPay. They're a lively bunch who, once the world changes, they're going to get out and about, and they want to sell the dream. They want to learn the same information that sales guys get, and they want to, they've already been having training this week. They want to generate leads, and they want to pass them on because they want to be real advocates. We've hired great people and they want to be real advocates for the business. But we want people not only coming into the Bristol office, but we want to be able to send feedback to the sales teams, but we also want to get feedback. We want that to be constructive, we want that to be positive, and we want to play a really active part in that. So we're really looking forward to your ideas on that, and we've got lots of ideas, and the team are really buzzing to work with you guys. And then finally, predictive support. Predictive support is where you can give customers information that they don't even know that they need. Could be, for example, they phone us with a query on their PAX, their PAX device, and but we can link to the PAX store, and we can tell them that they've got something that they need to do, or that they're something that they're not even aware of. And this will make more sense once you see the demo. But there are other companies as well that have got really strong at identifying when customers are going to contact them and actually playing proactive messages for them, or sending them texts, SMSs in advance of them even contacting us, or even anticipating what that call is and diverting them to self-service. There's so much scope. This is a little bit further down the line, but as you'll see from PAX, it's perhaps not as far away as you might imagine. Okay, just before the demo, I'm going to whisk through just a few more things of what else will make customers happier with SuperPay. PCI compliance. I'm not sure how much feedback you get about it, but it's one of the biggest drivers of dissatisfaction in Hull. And with the point-to-point encryption, it's just going to be such a game changer for us. The whole team is one of the areas that they suffer with the most, and customers, even though they have it communicated to them, it's something that they don't spend a great deal of time thinking about until they see their bills, and that's going to make a huge difference. But this is another one as well. It drives so many calls that I listen to. The customers are confused about the different direct debits and all the different partners and third parties that we have to deal with. That's going to be so much simpler. We are going to outsource to a chosen technical support provider, and we've got that in place now. Well, it will be going live within the next few weeks. But basically, it will be us, a single point of contact, which will be a massive difference to the customer experience. Also, in terms of the devices, just to have that sort of multi-functionality with SIM and wireless, and also Yodel. I haven't seen the details of it, but I've been advised that it's just a much, much better delivery experience. Customers will know exactly when they're going to get their devices, and also their self-serve functionality. They're going to be able to do so much more themselves on the device. Self-help as well. As we said, 10% of customers enjoy self-serving, and so we've got an easily accessible, totally revamped support center. We've got a new dashboard, the web chat that's coming soon. We're going to be investing a lot of time once we get more and more knowledge and understand more about what customers need and want. This is going to be a big one for us. Self-help is great for out of hours, but it's also great for customers who want it and enjoy it. It's of course cost effective for us, and it's a real win-win. This is really important. If you spend any time with anybody in the whole contact center, you'll be overwhelmed by how many systems that they have to deal with. And this is really important because actually, although this is an employee challenge, this is a great opportunity for our customers as well, because we can be faster, we can be better when we have fewer systems. Those 15 systems with SuperPay go down to just 4. And that's going to make a real difference to the advisor experience and therefore to the customer experience. This is another big one. It feels like a small example, but it's one I'm sure many of you have had frustrations about. Just updating bank details. 14 days in the current world, and in my time here, I've seen a fair share of complaints about how long it takes for things that are outside of our control. We can do that in 60 minutes in the new world because we have control. We don't have to send it off to somebody. We don't have to send multiple forms off to the acquirer and wait for many days for it to come back. So that's a fantastic one. Another one, it might seem small, but Zendesk, the customer details will auto-populate on every call. It just means that we can get straight through. We know who customers are, and we can start getting into the details really, really quickly, which again is really important for our customers who are time pressured. And again, another seemingly small but really powerful one is all of our customer comms on Zendesk will be in one place. So when customers phone about something, the team will be able to see it. They'll be able to deliver a better experience because they'll have it all there in one place. That's really, really sounds straightforward, but it's so powerful, and therefore will help our customers. Okay, so I'm going to hand over now to George and Laura, who are going to do a demo. Then they'll hand over to John for the final section, and then I'm happy to take any questions later.
Hi everyone. I'm pretending to be in my cafe, and Laura is my agent on the telephone, and this is my PAX machine. I'm going to have to turn my cafe background off because it doesn't work very well. Sorry about that. So this is my machine, and I'm having problems with accessing payment. So Laura's going to try and help me with that.
Hi everyone, so what I'm going to do is just take you through Packstore, and I'm just going to show you how we would solve a query. So first what I want to do is just check that I've got the location correct of your machine, George. So can you just tell me, are you based in or around St John's Road?
Yes, I am.
That's great. So I'm just going to do a few simple checks. I can see that your machine is active. I can see that it's online here, and I can see that you've got 96% battery strength. So there's nothing wrong there. What I can also see is that you are currently on the GPRS network and you are connected to Wi-Fi. I also can see here that you have tons of memory left in the machine, so that's not an issue. So following that, what I'm just going to do is I am just going to go into apps and just make sure you have all the relevant apps and that they are on the latest version. So as we can see here, we can see all the apps, we can see the version that they're on, and I can't see any issues here. What I'm going to check next on here is I'm just going to make sure all the hardware is in check. So I can see that everything is in green. If it wasn't recognising any paper in the printer, it would show red here. So we're all okay. What I do want to do is just to send a message to your machine from here, just to check that the signal is strong enough. If you can just let me know.
Yes, that's come through.
That's great. So we can see that the connection is strong enough for you to receive a message. So what I would do at this point is I'm just going to restart your machine just to see if there's any configuration issues. What we'd usually do is press this functionality. I'm not going to press it just because we want to dial into the machine, and it just takes a couple of minutes. Next, what I'm just going to do is I just want to remote into your machine so I can see what's going on there. So what I'm just going to do is connect, and you are going to get a message that is going to ask you for approval.
Okay, I've approved that.
That's great. And as you can see, I can now see George's machine screen. So I can see that you're on the SIL page. What I do want to do is to actually take control now of your machine. So I am going to again ask for control, and you'll get an approval message.
Yeah, got it. Approved.
That's great. So as you can now see, I'm just going to click a few buttons so you can see I'm now fully in control of George's machine. So if there was any issues as an agent, I'll be able to click into the different machines. And what's really good is you actually can see the payment app that George has just recently installed today on the machine as well. You can go through all the different functionality. And then what we can do is I can just X for control here. I'm going to X. Also, for technical support, I could also view all the logs when we have remote connected, and you can also see how many seconds that session lasts. So from restarting your machine, George, you now should be able to take a transaction.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Laura.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. We're just going to hand over to John now. So thanks a lot. Hope you found that useful.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone. That's a very tough act to follow. That's fantastic, isn't it? What I wanted to do, I'm going to share my screen very quickly and take you through a bit more. So anyone who was on the call on Wednesday, the town hall, I started to introduce some business insights along with our chief data officer to hopefully help you as payment consultants in the market using insight to pitch and win business and have good conversations with businesses. So a bit more on that. And if there's anything I haven't covered, I'll be very happy to share it afterwards. The first piece, I wanted to put in one chart. There's a report out this week, which is an annual report, and it's a really nice way of demonstrating the relevance of card payments through data. There's quite an easy summary to get hold of as well, which I've linked through in the bottom right of the chart. It shows how important card payments have become and how much cash has decreased as a payment option in the UK over the last 10 years. And now we're at a stage now where over half the payments in UK were made using some kind of a card, so debit card, credit card, etc. So that's how much it's important to be seen to be taking all possible payment methods if you're a small business owner right now. And to touch on that further, there's some stats here. So I've tried to pull together various things that either I was asked about on Wednesday or things that I think can help you to put you in the best position to pitch for our products and services. Talking about cash, I've just shown you the fall in demand. Cash is now used fewer than 1 in 4 transactions in all payments. That covers millions and millions of payments across UK, and the figures, as I said, were released earlier this week, so it's up-to-date numbers just showing the scale of movement there. This stat I introduced you to, if anyone was in that call on Wednesday, so just over 4/5 of UK businesses now accept card payments. It varies by region slightly. The areas to pick on, if you're in regions where either there's slightly younger demographics, such as university towns, likewise tourist places, that figure's much higher, as high as 95%. Then clearly there's in rural, more rural areas, less built up, there's those figures can be as low as sort of 55-60% in the businesses that we've been to. But the overall view is that figure there. That's a nice stat to be able to throw at anyone that hasn't yet been persuaded to take card payments. And then thinking of any existing businesses that maybe haven't yet got a machine with contactless facilities, and we know that contactless is more important than ever. 21% of any payment, not just card payments, are now contactless, and that's gone up about a third in a couple of years. So that's clearly something that's going to keep going. It will accelerate that trend given the increase in contactless payments, and then the more ability to pay through phones, Apple Pay, Android Pay, etc. And just to hammer home, the stats at the top there are general trends that we're seeing. If we pick on the last 10 weeks or so, Link cash machines are reporting a 62% decline in transactions. There's a lot less cash out there, and clearly there's less going on in terms of people using cash. So that's a figure you can use as well. Likewise, there's been some companies have been asking consumers, okay, right now we know that cash isn't flavor of the month and card payments are more important than ever. What do you think it looks like over the next 6 months and beyond? And 3/4 of consumers are saying the current situation will negatively impact and they'll change the way they use cash in the future. Absolutely aligned to that figure is the amount of SMEs that have said they're reconsidering the role of cash in their business. So the other way of looking at that number is that only 21% of all the business owners that were asked, and hundreds were asked, said that they had no plans to abandon cash altogether. So it's really helping people think. And although we do know, and I think it was mentioned on Wednesday, that there is still a few million people that heavily rely on cash at the moment, so it won't eradicate overnight, but the ability to take card payments, and for us guys as Payment Sense to move into that white space of lots of demand for businesses that don't have a machine but will need to, then those figures are quite stark. Again, the link's in the bottom of the slides, and I'll find a way of getting them out to you. Click through to more detail if you need charts and things like that as well. This then, so picking on the types of businesses, so I'm hoping that this can be used to pick on the types of businesses you can target for the new to card sector. I'm focusing on new to card because I think it's where the immediate white space is. Clearly, we've had loads of success, and you guys are fantastic at persuading businesses to switch from other providers. If you want to go into that new to card market, I think it's somewhere we can really push home, especially as the hospitality sector and the services sector starts to reopen from July. These are the businesses, and the biggest numbers of businesses are in the left-hand side. These are the businesses that are much less likely to have a card machine right now. I showed some of those the other day, and there's more detail, again, if you need it. So particularly anything service-wise, barbers, hair salons. Interesting, something like fish and chip shops. We know there's loads of them, and only half of them have a card machine right now. And the other piece is then we did a bit of follow-up work, which might be helpful as well for you to understand. So when we asked those businesses that do not take card payments, we said we asked how likely were they to adopt one in the next 12 months or so. I've described it at the top there, 40% of new to card are what I describe as an open door. They've already said they're possibly or probably or definitely looking to get a card machine as soon as things open up. There is 60% that, at least through the survey work we did, said they're still not considering. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I think that number will decrease. The important bit for you here is when asking why do they not take card payments, so why are they in that probably and definitely not buckets, then two things come out, and I'm sure you would have come across this in the market, but just to give you some stats and some quotes to back that up. If you can persuade them on costs, so there's still that feeling in across some of those non-adopters that card is expensive. We know that cash is expensive, and we know that it's complex to handle as well. But so cost will be the most likely the biggest barrier you'll come up against. So we've got hopefully you've got lots of ways in which you could overcome that. And then simplicity. So it sounds a bit complicated for some business owners, but again, we know we've got ways of getting them set up pretty quickly. So that's it from me. As I say, if there's any other questions, I'll do my best to answer them in the Q&A in a second. And then any other stats that would help you, then I'm very happy to share whatever I've got hold of. For now, though, I'll stop sharing and I'll pass you back to Steve for the Q&A.
Thanks, John. And also thanks, Justin, Georgina, and Laura. I mean, that demo was fantastic. And a lot of people are asking in the Q&A, will they get their hands on those stats from John? So yes, we will be sending them to obviously Sheila, and she'll send them out through the academy. I mean, how powerful was that remote access? I mean, just shows now with this new product and in the new world, you no longer have to firefight on behalf of the customers. I mean, because I know a lot of you sellers, you like to look after your customers and sort of take that battle on, but you've got full 100% confidence now in our service team that you can just pass that over to Bristol or Hull basically, and then they can get that remote access. So I mean, what a fantastic demonstration that was. So thank you for that. And also, I mean, Justin extended the arm and basically invited you all into to Bristol. Go and see the office. Go and meet the team. Work with them. Me and Justin, as he said, we spoke last week, and I mean, we've really committed to bringing our two departments to work together. We think we can bring a lot of value there. So watch the space of that. Okay, so we're going to take some questions. We're a little bit behind time, but there hasn't been many questions come in. There was a lot of, I see a lot of you are liking the new Champions League sort of rules, which is good. So there's a lot of great comments on that. So one question here is, in what date will SuperPay be available to roll out in July to the rest of the field? Again, guys, we're going through the testing period. You mean at the start of the month, we said that we are planning for the end of June, sort of start of July. Nothing really has changed there yet. I mean, this is a day-by-day project, and we're already behind in our testing. So I can't commit a date on that yet, but we will know as we go along. Sorry, I'm just going through the questions here. Some of the guys again are asking about SuperPay coming to Republic of Ireland. You mean, let's be truthful with you here. You mean, this is George and Anne answered it the other day on the call. I mean, they want to get this product out into the UK first, and it's the same question of when do we go to Europe. You mean, they want to get it out into the UK, fix all the teething problems, and then sort of look to move it to that. Another question is it possible to get a PAX terminal out with them? Again, we haven't really addressed that one yet. I'm sure me and Steve Jason will talk about that towards the end of this month. I'm sure we'll give some out, but we just don't know yet. Okay, guys, I'm just being honest with you. Any plans that we can speak to car washes and the new to cards? New to cards, yeah. In the testing period, we're not taking new to cards. But I mean, SuperPay will move to new to cards at some stage, probably the end of this month. So to answer that question, no, you can't sign any new to cards on SuperPay yet. I'm sure in July when we move to that, move it to the rest of you, new to cards will be ready to go. That's it, guys. There's none of you. You're all very quiet today. Maybe we answered them all, did we? I am stuck in silver. This is a message or a question from Jonathan. In Champions League, I'm stuck in silver, but would have qualified for gold this month. Will this be effective as of right now? So yes, as I said, you can move up in Champions League. You just can't move down. So yes, Jonathan, if you've hit those thresholds, then you should move up. Will terminals be installed remotely in the way shown or without an additional visit? Okay, that's a good question. Now, you have to remember about our new sort of culture change as a business, which is customer first. So we highly encourage you to go back out to the customer to make it live, because then you can help them do their PCI and just give them that experience. And referrals as well. I mean, it is an option that you could basically do it over the phone and install it, but you really should go out to customers and install for them. Will Parks terminals be able to switch pay counter? So will pay counter be ready? SuperPay. Can't basically give you any answers on that yet, guys. I mean, it's a fast-moving project. Connect and pay counter is not ready now for SuperPay, but we will be keeping you up to date on that. Yes, all the stats will be sent out to you. So guys, it's just, I'll take one more question. Let's just come in there. I've already answered that question. That's it, guys. So thank you very much for dialing in today. It's a really exciting time. Thank you to all my guests. These were all fantastic. And well done to all of the sellers that made the leaderboards. And we're slowly but surely hoping to get back to normality over the next lot of months. This is an exciting chapter that we're going into. So keep safe. Thanks for dialing in, and we will speak soon. Bye-bye. Cheers.